Be careful with this message. It doesn't show up when you're calm. It shows up when you're seconds away from breaking the loop you've been trapped in. What you're about to hear isn't motivation. It's ignition. And once it lands, your old life won't fit anymore. There's a strange feeling you've been carrying lately. It's not quite anxiety, not quite anticipation. It's pressure, like something is building inside your chest that has nowhere to go. You've been trying to name it, manage it, maybe even push it down, but it keeps rising. And the more you try to control it, the stronger it gets. That pressure isn't a problem. It's a signal. Your system is preparing for release. Think about the last few months. How many times have you felt like you were on the edge of something, but couldn't quite reach it? How many times did you sense that change was coming, but couldn't see the shape of it? That's not confusion. That's momentum. You're not stuck. You're compressed. And compression always comes right before expansion. In physics, there's a principle called potential energy. When you compress a spring, you're not weakening it, you're loading it. The tighter it gets, the more force it stores. And the moment you release the pressure, all that stored energy converts into motion. That's where you are. You've been compressing for longer than you realize. Every disappointment, every setback, every moment you felt like nothing was moving, that wasn't stagnation. That was loading. And now, whether you're ready or not, the release is coming. Here's what makes this moment different from every other time you felt close to change. You're done negotiating. You're done with half measures. You're done convincing yourself that small adjustments will be enough. Something shifted recently, maybe so quietly you barely noticed, but it shifted. And once that internal alignment happens, the external world has no choice but to respond. The pressure that precedes freedom. Right before any major breakthrough, there's a specific kind of discomfort that shows up. It's not the pain of something going wrong. It's the pain of something trying to go right while you're still holding the old pattern. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the mental strain of holding two conflicting beliefs at once. You know you need to change, but part of you is still gripping what's familiar. And that grip, that's what's creating the pressure. Think about a snake shedding its skin. Right before the old layer comes off, there's a period where the snake becomes almost blind. The old skin clouds its vision. It has to slow down, become vulnerable, wait in the discomfort until the new layer is ready. During that time, the snake isn't broken. It's transforming, and the blindness isn't a setback. It's part of the process. You've been in that blind period. Everything feels cloudy. Decisions that used to be simple now feel impossible. People you used to trust suddenly seem distant. Goals that drove you for years now feel hollow. And you've been interpreting this as failure when it's actually preparation. Your old lens is dissolving so a new one can form. But right now, in the gap between lenses, everything looks unclear. That's not a sign you're lost. That's a sign you're close. Neuroscience backs this up. When the brain is about to make a significant shift in perspective, it enters what researchers call a state of increased neural plasticity. Old neural pathways start to weaken and new ones prepare to form. During this transition, the brain becomes temporarily more chaotic. Decision-making gets harder. Focus becomes scattered. Sleep patterns shift. It feels like you're falling apart, but you're not. You're rewiring. And here's the critical part. This rewiring doesn't happen gradually. It happens in bursts. You spend weeks, sometimes months, in discomfort with no visible progress. Then suddenly, overnight, everything clicks. The breakthrough doesn't build slowly, it erupts. One day you're stuck, and the next day you're free. Not because anything external changed, but because your internal architecture finally finished reconstructing itself. That's why this moment feels so intense. You're not at the beginning of the process, you're at the end. The hardest part is already behind you. The confusion, the doubt, the pressure, those were the early stages. What you're feeling now is the final push before the structure gives way and you break through into clarity. Think about the last time you tried to open a jar that was stuck. You twisted and twisted with all your strength, and nothing happened. Then you tried one more time, barely applying pressure, and suddenly it opened. That last turn didn't work because you tried harder. It worked because all the previous turns had already loosened the seal. You just didn't see the progress until the moment of release. That's where you are. You've been loosening the seal for months. Every hard conversation, every moment you chose honesty over comfort, every time you said no to what didn't serve you, those were turns. And they felt like they weren't working because the jar didn't open. But they were working. And this video appeared because you're on the final turn. Why the last moment feels the hardest. Here's something no one tells you about breakthroughs. They don't feel like relief at first. They feel like panic. Because the moment you realize you're about to be free, you also realize what freedom will cost. The relationships that won't survive your growth. The identities you'll have to release. The safety of the known, even when the known has been suffocating you. That panic is natural. It's your survival system trying to keep you in the familiar. Psychologists call this the extinction burst. It's what happens right before a behavior pattern dies. Imagine you've trained a dog to sit by giving it treats. Then one day, you stop giving treats. The dog doesn't immediately stop sitting. Instead, it sits even more frantically, trying harder to get the reward it's used to. That's the extinction burst. The final surge of effort right before the old pattern collapses. You're experiencing this right now, but with your entire life. The old version of you is having an extinction burst. It's throwing everything it has at you to make you stay. Fear, doubt, what-ifs, worst-case scenarios. It's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you from the unknown. But protection and growth can't coexist. At some point, you have to choose. Here's what makes this moment so disorienting. Part of you already chose. That's why you're here. That's why this pressure won't go away. The decision has been made at a level deeper than conscious thought. Your body knows. Your intuition knows. But your mind is still catching up, still running its final calculations, still checking one more time to make sure this is really what you want. But you can't think your way into freedom. You can only feel your way there. And every time you override your knowing with logic, you add another day to the waiting period. The moment you stop negotiating is the moment you break through. Think about people you know who went through major transformations. The ones who quit the stable job to chase a dream. The ones who left the relationship everyone said was perfect. From the outside, it looked impulsive. But if you ask them, they'll tell you the same thing. It wasn't impulsive. It was inevitable. They'd been deciding for months, maybe years. The external action just looked sudden because the internal process was invisible. That's what's happening to you. The internal process is complete. The decision is made. You're just waiting for the external action to catch up. But here's the secret. The external action doesn't happen on its own. It happens when you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start trusting the momentum that's already built inside you. Systems thinking explains this through the concept of a tipping point. Small changes accumulate slowly, invisibly, with no apparent effect. Then suddenly, one tiny shift causes the entire system to reorganize. You are at that alignment. The conditions are set. The only thing missing is permission, and not from anyone else. From you. The break is already happening. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You're not preparing to break free. You're already breaking free. The breakthrough isn't coming. It's here. You just haven't recognized it yet because you're expecting it to look different. You're expecting a dramatic moment, a clear sign, a definitive before and after. But most breakthroughs don't work that way. They happen quietly, in the space between thoughts, in the decision you made 3 days ago without realizing it was the decision. Think back to the last week. Was there a moment when you said no to something you used to tolerate? A moment when you spoke up instead of staying quiet? A moment when you chose yourself over keeping the peace? Those weren't small moments. Those were the break. Freedom doesn't announce itself. It accumulates in choices so subtle you don't notice them until you look back and realize you're standing somewhere completely different. Behavioral psychology has studied this extensively. Lasting change doesn't happen through massive overhauls. It happens through micro shifts that compound over time. You don't wake up free. You wake up one day and realize you've been free for weeks without noticing. The prison door has been open. You've been walking in and out. You just kept thinking you were still trapped because the walls were still visible. But visibility doesn't equal validity. Just because you can still see the old pattern doesn't mean it still has power over you. The old structures are still standing, but they're hollow. You're not dismantling them anymore. You're walking past them. And every time you walk past without engaging, they lose a little more substance until one day you turn around and realize they're gone. This video didn't find you to tell you how to break free. It found you to confirm that you already did. The shift you've been waiting for isn't in the future. It's in the present. It's in the breath you're taking right now. The one that feels a little easier than the ones before it. The thoughts that are a little quieter. The grip that's a little looser. You're not building toward freedom. You're settling into it. And here's why this message won't need to appear again. Because once you recognize that the break already happened, you stop looking for permission to live like it did. You stop checking in with old voices. You stop running future scenarios. You stop preparing and start being. That shift, from becoming free to realizing you are free, is instant. It's not a process. It's a recognition. The exhaustion you've been feeling, that's not the struggle to break free. That's the aftermath of already breaking free while still acting like you haven't. You've been running on 2 operating systems at once. The old one that believes you're trapped, and the new one that knows you're not. The moment you shut down the old system and commit fully to the new one, the exhaustion lifts. So here's your permission. Stop preparing. Stop rehearsing. Stop waiting for the moment when you'll finally be ready. You're already standing in it. The only thing left to do is notice. And the noticing happens the second you stop looking for it and start trusting what you already feel. This video found you right before you break free because you're not before anymore. You're in it. The break is happening. The walls are down. The door is open. The freedom you've been chasing has been chasing you back, and it just caught up.